Hey pilots, welcome to an episode of Garcia Air Modeler Dynamics. I'm Zach Garcia, and today we are going to combine two lessons into one. The first lesson is how to fly Hobbyking's Avro Lancaster. The second is about tip stalls and how they are created, and what the result is after. Now, this beautiful scale-built legend is an amazing aircraft to fly, but it requires a lot of skill and hand coordination on the controls. You first have to know what you're doing in order to fly the aircraft properly. This model was not made for aerobatics, and I'm about to explain why. Pretty sure most of you pilots have experienced your plane performing an unexpected semi-flat spin towards the ground. That has to do with wingtip vortices generated naturally from the pressure underneath the wing and the tip of the wing. It creates a vortex that helps stabilize the aircraft at a percentage of the vertical stabilizer. The straight surfaces of the fuselage, and the wingtips vortices combined. Now, Hobbyking's version 2 of the Lancaster is built without activating rudder control surfaces, which can make it difficult to yaw the aircraft how most pilots are used to use the rudder to turn the direction of the nose. In your mind, this looks like a bank and yank aircraft, meaning you roll the aircraft and you pull back on the stick to complete your turn. Technically, it is, but you also have to be careful not overdoing it. A tip stall occurs when the wingtip on one side of the wing is not producing enough airflow to generate the same vortex on the other side. The failing side begins to drop due to the force of air that the other wingtip is providing. This usually happens at a high angle of attack at low speeds. If the aircraft is not producing the same vortex on each side of the aircraft has a possibility to enter an unstable and uncontrollable maneuver. These clips from the following users will demonstrate the Lancaster's flight performance. In this clip, you see the pilot perform a beautiful flyby. As he pulls out, he begins to climb rapidly and attempts to turn the aircraft. He dramatically loses airspeed and the tip stall occurs, leaving frustration for the pilot. You see, with this model, you want to avoid short turns that can dramatically decrease your airspeed. You also want to keep the model at under 30 degrees of pitch to complete your turn. Let's go back to Aerodynamics 101. In this photo, you can see the difference of airflow along the airfoil in two different pictures. The top shows the aircraft at level flight. The bottom shows the aircraft at a nose-up pitch. Look at the difference. Airflow is failing to reach to the top of the surface of the wing, creating a stall. It is also not doing its part on generating the vortex. That is basically what happened as he was turning. The lower wingtip has the most risk of a tip stall at low speeds during turns, because the pressure is not going to be exactly the same during a hard banking turn. The elevator and low speed is what is to blame. Pulling back on the stick at any speed can make the aircraft roll into a tip stall when the model begins to stall. With the Lancaster, you want to roll the aircraft at 15 degrees and pull back on the stick slowly to complete your turn. Your turn radius can possibly be the size of Texas, but you still have an aircraft flying in the air safely. All you have to do is fly the model like a bomber and not like a fighter. It may be pretty fast and powerful and tempting, but the vertical stabilizers, the length on those stabilizers from front to back is not enough to keep the aircraft stabilized on its own. Next is landing the aircraft. It is going to come in pretty fast. That is normal. You want the airspeed to prevent stalls. Keep the throttle at 25% to maintain airspeed and descend slowly, but make sure your wings are level. You will have a possibility of striking the bottom of the vertical stabilizers to the ground and damaging the aircraft. So fly with scale detail, fly with skill, and fly it safely to get another flight after, but most importantly, have fun flying.